Hello, how are you friends? I am Darkoburi the collector, and today for today's unboxing, we are going to have this replica of Majora's Mask. First, we are going to analyze the box. As you can see, here is the collector's edition of Majora's Mask from the Legend of Zelda. As you can see, it's made by First Figures. And here is the logo of the Legend of Zelda from Majora's Mask. The most impressive part of the box is on the backside. Here we have, obviously, is the Nintendo seal from First Figures, and our collector's edition on this side, indicating that it is piece number 181 with only 1,600 pieces released worldwide. Here, if we look at the box, we see what the mask salesman told us. You've met with a terrible fate, right? The Majora's Mask is a mysterious artifact that was once used by an ancient tribe to perform all their enchantments. They feared that the mask had a very terrible power. So, this ancient tribe sealed the mask permanently. But some years, much later, the mask was stolen. Stolen by whom? By the Skull Kid, who is one of the characters in this video game, being the villain character. So, here I leave you with this replica from First Figures, which is a 25-inch representation of the Majora's Mask. As we know, it is the most important part of the video game and one of the most important games in the Legend of Zelda series. So, without further ado, let's do the unboxing. I'm just going to place the box horizontally because if you notice, it's very bulky and I don't want my figure to get damaged. We have this part, if you notice, in dry ice, very well protected. So I'm going to remove it very slowly, but stay with us. Now that we've carefully removed it, we see the dry ice packaging, which I'm going to show you. Because here comes the representation of Majora's Mask, which I found to be an exceptional detail. And here, on the front, we have a seal from one of the signatories, the creators of the piece. And here on the back, we still have other additional details. Here on the back, it says that this side, when opening your figure, should be placed facing up. And what you see below is the authenticity card of the piece, which tells us to officially register your product licensed by First Figures. Go to the website. Obviously, we have to enter some digits and characters that are here on the front. I'll leave a representation of the card here for you. Obviously, I've already activated it, but we're going to do the unboxing of our piece. We're going to remove it very carefully and display it here on the Darkoburi channel. Now that you've opened, as the box instructions said, let's go ahead and do the unboxing. And the first thing we have is the Majora's Mask. We're going to set it aside here. Why? Because there are several pieces inside. The second thing we have is the base. If you notice, down here is everything impressively contained in our collectible piece. So we're going to leave it here to later place our piece. And there are some smaller pieces that will be embedded into our Majora's Mask. If you notice, it is perfectly well indicated which piece goes on which side, for what purpose, so that our Majora's Mask fits perfectly. And you might say, here are the numbers. But here, if we look closely, inside our mask is where the numbers are. They pay attention to each part of our mask The instructions come in a very simple way. Let's say it's even dummy proof. Why? So that your mask is perfectly assembled. You don't have to add anything, just fit the piece. And you'll have your Majora's Mask. Once you have removed all the small pieces that make up your Majora's Mask, we are going to assemble it. If you notice, it's very easy. There's a left side and a right side, and there are 10 pieces in total. What fascinated me a little more about this video game, if you notice how easily the piece is impressively magnetized, to my surprise. You see, it takes a little effort to remove it, obviously a little pressure, but it's one of the best games. When you finish the Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, there's a child Link left. If you notice, he was always an adult. When he withdrew the Master Sword, he traveled through time. But there's a child Link who gets lost in the lonely forest. He goes with his horse Epona and encounters a mischievous child who had this mysterious mask, which was the Skull Kid. He was a child who had been bullied, who had the desire to destroy everything. What happens? He sentences child Link. For what purpose? So that he has the mask of a Deku. He transforms and tells him that the moon will fall in 3 days. And you have those 3 days to save the world. Obviously, you have to keep fighting against, if you notice, it separates easily, but there's no problem because it will be mounted on the base. So here, our hero of time has to go through several trials. For what purpose? To be able to resolve everything that is the world of Majoras. Remember that we are not in Hyrule, but in Termina, and we have to finish everything in 3 days. You are capable of finishing a game in 3 days because otherwise it will perish when the moon falls. And simply lift the base to place Majora's Mask on it with quite ease. You notice, we saw that the base stated they had the Nintendo first 4 figures licensed to make this collectible piece. Our collection number also came with it because this is a piece limited to 1,600 units worldwide. So you are seeing all the impressive details here of Majora's Mask on the Darkoburi channel. We are going to analyze the piece because in my opinion, it's one of the best games. Obviously, Ocarina of Time is the best for me from the Legend of Zelda. Which one did you like more? Leave it in the comments, tell us which one you want us to do. If you want us to do some gameplay of them, just let us know and we will do it. But let's analyze the piece. Notice, we saw Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64. It didn't have the quality that we are seeing, I know, in this 3-dimensional replica of the mask. Here, if you notice, the mask with its ominous powers, the green eyes are vacant, filled with evil, they are red. And the entire shape of the mask in its purple color, and each of the spikes protruding from the mask have different shades, ranging from yellow, it turns to orange, green and blue. It is placed on this tree, which I would like to think was the first Deku that died to give the mask to Link. In my opinion, the transformations were not pleasant at all. If you notice, every time Link put on the mask, you could hear cracking sounds, and his eyes would become veiny. It was a complete ordeal. You could hear it. And Link had the curse. I would say, the curse of transforming into people who had passed away. So the first Deku, whose identity we don't know, was deceased. Subsequently, the Goron, the Zora, and the legendary mask that you have the right to wear are the ones that facilitate Link's transformations. The only mask you can't wear throughout the entire video game is Majora's Mask. Why? Because you start fighting on the moon, and the mask grabs Skull Kid and discards him. Its puppet is finished, it has gained power, and now you have to fight first with a scrawny figure that sprouts, very thin, legs and arms. Subsequently, Majora's Mask becomes stronger, but if you have, as I mentioned, the legendary mask, as long as you have infinite magic, you keep unleashing power with the sword. It's the easy way to finish this Zelda game. If you want to finish it in pro mode, take it on with Link. Why? Because you're going to take a very long time to destroy one of the most important bosses in the entire history of video games who was the bearer of Majora's Mask. Finally, we have to appreciate the incredible piece of the base. It's a solid base to support our Majora's Mask piece. It features the moss effects that the tree has. Obviously, we start in a forest. So this is the incredible piece from The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Here, we leave it for you to observe all the details of the piece closely. From the way the mask is already worn, it has some broken aspects, some carved parts, and the eyes, as I mentioned, green, with the pupils a little more red, and so the bearer of the cursed mask could breathe. They have the waves here, which are some impressive details of our mask. I leave them for you to analyze. And as you well know, here on the Darkoburi channel, The Legend of Zelda is one of the most important and beloved games for me, and it won't be the only piece I have. I have the replica of my Hylian shield. Here I show it to you. If you look closely, these are all the details that belong to the Hylian shield, which now, in The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, it doesn't appear as much. Instead, you have a shield that is the mirror shield with the face of someone in distress. But when it was The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, young Link had that shield and could only cover himself because it was very heavy. Adult Link, which is the one we have here, another piece of my collection, which I would like to show off to you, was like the 4th or 5th piece I obtained. Here, if you look, is the identical replica of the Hylian shield. And of course, I couldn't miss my Master Sword. I also, as a true fan of The Legend of Zelda, leave it here for you to observe. If you like this video, leave a comment. You know, we're on all social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, we're on Medium, on YouTube. If you love the Majora's Mask piece as much as I did, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Absolutely a perfect score. What score would you give to this incredible piece? Leave in the comments which of the Legend of Zelda video games you love the most, as it always happens to Link. He gets confused. They think he is Zelda, and Zelda is the princess who rescues Link. Leave in the comments what you think about that. You tell me which part of the storyline branch. There's one where the hero of time wins, and another where the hero of time loses and time has to pass him for him to be revived. All of that is incredible. You know, all of this is on Darkoburi's channel. If you want us to do another unboxing, as you've mentioned in your comments, also write it down, share it, activate the notification bell, and you know, Darkoburi, peace out.